Whoops. Let's go off screen. Well, it's a heck of a day for news. What's going on, everybody? I'm Know Nothing Attorney. I know nothing, so you can too. Because it's only in embracing that we know nothing that we can actually learn anything. That's what I aim to do here every time I'm live. I hope to learn from you and hope you can learn along with me. We have a learning environment here. I have no shame in admitting I'm wrong about anything, and I like to learn. And this painting is going to piss me off. It's gonna piss me off. Oh my god. Okay. What's going on, Maddie? How you doing this evening? We are gonna have to cover some news today, Maddie, I'm afraid to say. We're gonna have to cover some news because it's been one hell of a fucking day. I'm gonna drop the F-bomb right off the bat. It's been that kind of day. Some very upsetting news. Upsetting news. Yeah, there has been so much news. Did you not see the news? It's not like any of the news. Well, I mean, no, I was gonna say it's not like any of the news was like explosion, like explosive news. There's a bunch of little things, but no, there has been a bit that was explosive. Yeah, it's nothing but news. Yeah. Yes. Which part? It's hard to know. Yeah, exactly. But before that, you doing okay, Maddie? I hope you're having a good evening despite that. Great. Great. War. Afghanistan, Pakistan are fine. Mexico's fine. Ukraine is fine. Palestine's fine. We're fine. Greenland's fine. Maddie's on a 10-stream streak. Let's go, Maddie! I see you. You popped into the chat for like 5 minutes the other day just to keep that streak going. Okay. The news. Some of it. Some of the news. Not some more news. Not gonna get myself in trouble with that one. Where are we at? There we go. Yes, it has, Maddie. Yes, it has. What massive pieces of shit. Frickin' Kansas. Kansas, everybody was happy when you weren't making news. But Maddie, you're there. You can rein them in, right? I'd be worried if you weren't there, but you can get them in line. Okay, well, while we're at it, let's get down to Kansas makes trans people's driver's licenses invalid overnight. Doesn't just tell people they have to change their sex designation on their driver's licenses. Doesn't give them any kind of time frame to handle that. Just makes them invalid. Cool. Cool. Let's read it, make sure that's correct. I don't want to overstate things, but I do believe that's the story. People are getting letters in the mail already telling them that their driver's licenses are invalid. Oh good, they've got a database of the trans people in Kansas? Okay. Transgender people across Kansas are receiving letters warning them that their driver's licenses are now invalid due to a new state law. Senate Bill 244 takes effect Thursday and requires transgender people to have licenses corresponding with the sex of their birth. It passed last month with Kansas legislators overriding Democratic Governor Laura Kelly's veto. Well, thank you, Laura, for trying. Thank you for trying. Anyone who receives the letter has to surrender their license and pay for a new one, and if they are caught without a valid license, the penalty is a Class B misdemeanor with a sentence of up to 6 months in jail and a $1,000 fine. But as I understand it, there's no window here, so you have to have someone else take you to go get a new license. Kelly is great. No, seriously, she's solid. She's like having Professor McGonagall as governor. I would not mind that. Hell, I'd give anything for that. I was really depressed to see the other day. Like, I saw a piece of news from like Man, I don't want to overstate. I feel like it was like 2011. It said Governor Abbott. I'm like, Jesus Christ, how long has this been going on? I don't remember even. Yep, it's canceled immediately. Gender marker changes. Oh. Gender marker changes have been allowed on Kansas licenses since 2007, despite the efforts of Kansas Republicans. Wow, that's wonderful. 2007, let's go Kansas, until now. That changed with SB 244, which doesn't just ban gender changes going forward, but invalidates any changes made in the past. And the bill doesn't come with a grace period lasting months. It's taking effect immediately upon publication in the Kansas Register, which is updated on Thursdays. Honestly, Maddie, I'm surprised that this didn't happen in November. I would expect this to happen in November. Oh, God. I keep trying to tell, like, wake Texans up to how awful the Texas Republicans are. It's literally in their party platform to get rid of no-fault divorce. Like, and I know that I harp on that one all the time, but that's my specific one to point to go like, do you realize how crazy you are? It's insane. It is not okay. Session wouldn't be in November. That's true. That's true. I mean, they can do a special session, right? I guess I forget what time of year it is. They fucking tried. They tried to have a special session. The department is working as quickly as possible to notify individuals whose credentials will be affected under SB 244, ensuring they have sufficient time to update their credentials and avoid any disruption. Bullshit. If anybody needs to hear it, laws taking effect immediately, like things that affect tons of people taking effect immediately, is really weird. It's really, really weird. They tried a special session last fall to do redistricting and couldn't even get the session started. Wow. That's sad. Letters are being sent to those impacted, and they should begin receiving them soon. It's insane to me, like, we know the political, like, yikes of the political right, but it's like, this is just a window of time right now where they realize that people are not fans of what is happening, and so they have to push more and more and more. We have to show more of their true selves. Next, credentials will be shut down for weight change, hair color change. Anybody who's been on Ozempic. Anybody with a mental health disorder. Anybody who's taking SSRIs. It's so arbitrary, yeah. I mean, I'm still waiting for the day that RFK sends people on SSRIs or people with ADHD off to camp, a re-education camp. Literally the word he used, re-education. About 1,500 people in the state are expected to receive letters, although Denny said that number could go down as the department continues to look through and refine our records. In addition to requiring new driver's licenses, SB 244 also bans transgender people from bathrooms that match their gender identity in public buildings, and even goes as far as to create a bounty system, giving people the ability to sue transgender people they see using the wrong restrooms for at least $1,000. Wow. How truly, truly horrific. I'm sorry. Wait. That's not a bounty system. That's not a bounty system. That's not what that is. You're giving them a private right to sue transgender people? Yeah, me too, Maddie. I'm on SSRIs and anxiety meds, and I have ADHD. I'm fucked if RFK gets his way. This is the most insane thing. The bill is written vaguely enough to potentially include private restrooms too, so you can trick people into using your private restrooms and sue them for $1,000. Maddie, if you can link it, that would be great. That's insane. It's a bill designed to appease a right-wing panic about transgender people hiding behind bathroom safety, even though other states have not had any crimes or issues resulting from transgender people using the restroom of their gender. All it's going to do is make the lives of many Kansans more difficult and make conservatives feel better about a problem that doesn't exist. Yep. Just like most conservative problems. Good Lord. I'm so upset. Okay, let's go back to the top. Thank you. Senate Bill number 244. Yep, that should be it. No, it's not. Nope, it's not. Yeah, from session of 2025. Yep. It was passed this month. What? It says passed February 18th, 2026. Weird. In Kansas, a bill can be brought back for 1 year? Oh, okay. But didn't it say SB 244? So how can you bring back a bill and have it be the same number as another bill? Have I flipped my lid here? It's SB 244. How can two bills in one session have the same number? That's so weird. Okay, okay, Maddie, I think they put the wrong text up here. Because this is talking about the bathroom related to your sex. Well, I wonder if we can get the text of 244 somewhere. If not, Kansas's own legislature website. Thanks, Kansas. Looks like y'all are really handling your shit well. It's not their website. Legiscan? Okay. What do we got? Is this going to be it? SB 244. Okay. Why's my phone blowing up? Usual. Okay. Had my friends over to. Had two friends over tonight who are from two different circles, like two of my different friend groups, and we watched heated rivalry. That was a fun experience. And yeah, a couple of my friends really hit it off, and I think that is the group chat blowing up. Yay! It's always good when your two different friend groups align. Okay, what have we got here, Kansas? What are you doing? female means the same as defined in KSA 2025, SUP 277, 207, and amendments there too. I guess we're gonna have to start there, aren't we? KSA. I was in the Capitol a few times where I was reading Yuri on ICE fanfiction right next to some pretty hardcore right-wing Republican legislators. That's beautiful, Maddie. That's beautiful. Everyone loves Yuri. If you don't love Yuri, you're not human. You only realized you were reading Yuri later? Maddie, I don't know what to tell you. I feel like you should have an idea if you're reading Yuri. Okay. Biological sex, here we go. Republicans, trying to make life hard for everyone. Okay, well, this text is very small. Alright, what do we got here? Yeah, I mean, I know what Yuri is. Okay. Biological sex, application thereof to any state law or rule or regulation, application of intermediate constitutional scrutiny, standard of review, important governmental objectives, collection of vital statistics. Notwithstanding any provision of state law to the contrary, with respect to the application of an individual's biological sex pursuant to any state law or rules and regulations, the following shall apply. So technically this didn't need to be listed in Senate Bill 244, but they just want to stick it to people that they are determining people's gender for them. By the way, our state also passed a law a year or two ago that only male and female exists. Is that not in here? An individual's sex means such individual's biological sex, either male or female, at birth. A female is an individual whose biological reproductive system is developed to produce ova, and a male is an individual whose biological reproductive system is developed to fertilize the ova of a female. That's very underdeveloped of a definition. That is not biological. This is not how these things work. You are not educated enough to provide definitions of sex. Okay. The terms woman and girl refer to human females, and the term man and boy refer to human males. If your reproductive system cannot develop to produce ova, then sorry. If your biological reproductive system cannot develop to fertilize the ova, sorry. You do not belong in these categories. The term mother means a parent of the female sex, and the term father means a parent of the male sex. With respect to biological sex, the term equal does not mean same or identical. With respect to biological sex, separate accommodations are not inherently unequal. Wow, I love that one. That one is, that's a special little one. You know how we learn in school that separate isn't equal? Well, under this very specific circumstance, only with respect to biological sex, separate is not inherently unequal. It can be equal if separate. I just don't listen to that phrase as like a universal phrase. It's not inherently unequal to treat people as though they must be separate. These people are eugenicists. Yeah, they do not care about intersex people. I mean, they don't even care about like bimodal sex people. Like, they don't care about like people of the binary sexes who cannot develop like ova or fertilize ova. Like, technically, under this definition, if you produce sperm, but they are non-motile sperm. Are you a male? I don't know. Let us recall that separate but equal died in Topeka, Kansas. Oh my god. Yeah. Wait until dudes realize that, oh no, wait. No-fault divorce negatively and directly impacts me? You know what's sad is realizing that I would have thought that applied to me a decade ago. Like I wouldn't have gone like no fault divorce, that couldn't, like, getting rid of that couldn't impact me. I am a devoted spouse. I am not being abused in a way that the courts would not deem like real. The courts would not find it visible. That's not happening. Okay, an individual born with a medically verifiable diagnosis of disorder/differences in sex development shall be provided legal protections and accommodations afforded under the Americans with Disabilities Act and applicable Kansas statutes, but you will not be a male. My no-fault divorce is the only moral no-fault. Yeah, classic logic. Laws and rules and regulations that distinguish between the sexes are subject to intermediate constitutional scrutiny. Intermediate constitutional scrutiny forbids unfair discrimination against similarly situated male and female individuals, but allows the law to distinguish between the sexes where such distinctions are substantially related to important governmental objectives. I love how they have to define it in this. That's weird. Any school district or public school thereof, and any state agency, department, or office, or political subdivision that collects vital statistics for the purpose of complying with anti-discrimination laws, or for the purpose of gathering accurate public health, crime, economic, or other data, shall identify each individual who is part of the collected data set as either male or female at birth. Cool. Well, that was fun. Back to this. Multiple occupancy private space means a facility designed or designated for simultaneous use by more than one individual, and in which an individual may be in a state of undress in the presence of another individual, regardless of whether the facility provides curtains or partial walls for privacy. Multiple occupancy private space includes, but is not limited to, a restroom, locker room, changing room, or shower room. Facility designed or designated for simultaneous use by more than one individual, and in which an individual may be in a state of undress in the presence of another individual. Like a hotel. Yeah, a hotel would definitely be one, a multiple occupancy private space. What's happening? Okay, I need to mute my phone. Okay. Like a business. What do you mean a business, Maddie? I mean, I think hotel, you've got one there. State, like a pool? I think a pool. Oh shit, are we back to segregated pools? A spa? Actually, I think this definition is meaningless, because any person could take their shirt off anywhere. A facility designed or designated for simultaneous use by more than one individual, and in which an individual may be in a state of undress in the presence of another. It doesn't say it is part of the facility's design for someone to be in a partial state of undress. This is literally any place. Because any place may be a place where somebody's in a partial state of undress. Hey. You just change your clothes in your office? True. I have changed my clothes in my office before. Public building means a building owned or leased by a governmental entity. Public building does not include a building owned by a governmental entity that is leased to a private entity, whether for profit or not for profit, if the lease agreement for such building between the governmental entity and the private entity was in force and effect on the effective date of this act. What are they getting around with this? What are they getting around with this? Here, I'm too innocent of a mind. Prisons? Gonna ask for some help with this one. Okay. We're live on 2/26/26 at 10:53 p.m. Reading Kansas. SB 244, which in part requires individuals to use restrooms based on sex. So it is very broadly worded and ambiguously. This part feels like it's trying to get around something. Any idea what it may be? What you got for us, AI? Alright, I'm gonna keep moving while it's working on that. Okay. Sex means the same as defined. Yep. Single occupancy private space means a facility designed or designated for use by only one individual at a time, and in which the individual may be in a state of undress. God damn it. That's literally everything. Everything designed for use by one person. A single toilet restroom with a locking door that is designed or designated as unisex. A family restroom or changing room. What? How is a family restroom designed or designated for use by only one individual? What are you talking about? Even the most obvious of definitions is busted. What? Like, just directly contradict yourself. Okay, the AI says, most probable legal concern is the U.S. Constitution's Contracts Clause, which prohibits states from passing laws that substantially impair existing contractual obligations. If a private entity, whether a business or a nonprofit, has signed a lease on a government-owned building, retroactively imposing new restroom designation requirements could be argued to materially change the terms of the agreement. True? Okay. The fact that this exemption only applies to leases existing at the time of enactment, not future ones, reveals the strategy. Going forward, the state can build compliance into new lease terms. Yeah, so it's just the contracts clause. Okay. Any of these legislators who were in the military or Peace Corps would have used the bathroom in the woods in a hole at some point. But was nature designed to be used by more than one individual, Maddie? The governing body or chief administrative officer, if no... Oh, wait, huh? The governing body or chief administrative officer, if no governing body exists, of each public building... The chief administrative officer of a building? shall designate each multiple occupancy private space in such building for use only by individuals of one sex. What? So this is the male hotel. This is the female office. This is the male prison. This is the female university. The governing body or chief administrative officer, if no governing body exists, shall take every reasonable step to ensure an individual does not enter a multiple occupancy private space that is designed for use only by individuals of the opposite sex. This subsection shall not be construed to prohibit a governing body or chief administrative officer if no... God, just define a new term, guys. Adopting a policy in accordance with the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990, establishing single occupancy private space. Notwithstanding provisions subsections B and G, an individual may enter a multiple occupancy private space designated for use only by individuals of the opposite sex for custodial purposes, for maintenance or inspection purposes, to render medical or other emergency assistance, to accompany and provide assistance to an individual who needs assistance using the facility, for law enforcement purposes, to render assistance necessary in preventing a serious threat to proper order or safety, to provide coaching or athletic training during athletic events. A child who is under 9 years of age may enter a multiple occupancy private space designated for use only by individuals of the opposite sex if accompanied by an individual caring for such child. Okay. A child who is oh yeah, already read that. Any governmental entity that violates this section is liable for a civil penalty of $25,000 for the first violation, $125,000 for each subsequent violation. Each day of a continuing violation of this section constitutes a separate violation. Okay, so the state is charging the state fine. Like, I'm a receptionist. There are a few times where I'll have to enter the men's restroom for non-custodial reasons. Am I guilty of this? Well, it depends on what you're using it for. Are you doing it to use the restroom? Things you need to check on? Well, I don't know what that means, Maddie. I don't know. This is a quiet one, Maddie. We're doing a quiet one. A person may file a complaint with the Attorney General against a... Yeah, absolutely none of this is needed, but we can also see exactly how it's going to fuck shit up. I mean, I don't know if we can see exactly how it's going to fuck shit up, but we can get an idea of the lengths to which it can fuck stuff up. A person may file a complaint with the Attorney General against a governmental entity for a violation of this section if... I don't care. Or bringing an action against a governmental entity, I don't care about violations by governmental entities. Masselhoff, what's up? You're live streaming with us both now? Thank you for being on my stream earlier, Maddie. Also a quiet one. Yeah, I mean, maybe Thursdays. I mean, maybe I should just, like, I don't know. Fridays and Saturdays usually get a little bit more traffic. Not really sure what I should do with my weekday streams. I mean, if y'all are happy with me doing it the way I'm doing it, then that's fine. I'm happy to be doing this. You're also a little earlier than usual. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to do that more. But I guess that means, like, my usual traffic isn't in here, is your point. It shall be a violation of this It shall be a violation of this section for an individual to enter a multiple occupancy private space designated for use only by individuals of the opposite sex, except as permitted under subsection B or C. Upon receipt of a complaint that an individual entered a multiple occupancy private space in violation of this section, written notice of such violation. Such notice shall include the date and location of the multiple occupancy. A statement that repeated violations may result in fines. The procedure to administrative. Well, it's very nice of them to tell trans people that they can't do it more than once. Okay, here we go. Here's the insane shit. I have to read this. Any individual who commits a second violation after being found to have violated this section pursuant to paragraph 1 shall be liable for a civil penalty of $1,000. An action to assess such penalty may be brought by the Attorney General if the violation occurred in a state building, or by the county or district attorney for the county where the violation occurred if the violation occurred in a municipal building. Okay, I guess that's not the section I was thinking of. Oh, is this it? Any individual who, while accessing a... Masselhoff, I'm sorry, I didn't do a good enough job saying hi. How are you doing this evening? I hope it's been a good one. Oh yeah. Third or more is a misdemeanor. They're making it a crime. Not a civil penalty. A civil infraction. Whoops. Where do we go? I mean, Maddie, I guess you need to start refusing going into that bathroom if it's not on that short list. Any individual who, while accessing multiple occupancy private space designated for use only by such individual's sex, is aggrieved by the invasion of such individual's personal privacy. What does that mean? Or is otherwise harmed by a violation of this section by an individual of the opposite sex, may bring a cause of action against such individual of the opposite sex. In bringing such action, the individual may seek either actual damages or liquidated damages in the amount of $1,000, as well as declaratory and injunctive relief. Injunctive relief is interesting. It's all interesting. In emotional damage. Okay, an individual who has to be using the multiple occupancy private space, which has to be defined. So if I'm in an office building that someone could be partially undressed in at any time, a male or female office building, and if I'm then in my male office building and a female comes in and I am aggrieved by invasion of my personal privacy, despite it being a multiple occupancy private space, can I have personal privacy in a multiple occupancy private space? Or is otherwise harmed by a violation of this section by an individual of the opposite sex, may bring a cause of action. Otherwise harmed. What harm? What? They bring a cause of action against such individual of the opposite sex. So you have to be in the bathroom, or sorry, you have to be in the multiple occupancy private space, the MOPS. You have to be in the MOPS. Somebody else comes into the MOPS. You have to be personally aggrieved by a violation of your personal privacy in a multiple occupancy space, or be harmed by their violation of this section. In doing so, you may seek damages in the amount of $1,000 from that person personally. I can see this being very abused. This will result in so many, like, traps. Some people are going to try to scam people with this. But what's interesting to me is the injunctive relief. Now, I may be remembering my remedies class wrong, but I feel like an individual can't receive as a remedy A universal injunction. I think the only injunctive relief they could get, like, if Harry comes into Sandy's space, then Sandy can sue Harry, and the court could say, Harry, you can't go into Sandy's space anymore. So this is a weird thing to do. The judge can't say you can't go into that bathroom anymore. You just can't go into that bathroom when that woman's in there. That's weird. I mean, just the idea of being able to sue somebody for that is weird. It shall be an affirmative defense to any claim brought pursuant to this subsection that the defendant did not know that the multiple... An affirmative defense, okay. That the defendant did not know that the multiple occupancy private space was designated for use only by individuals of the opposite sex to that of the defendant. So wait, knowledge? Knowledge is sufficient? How do y'all define knowledge in Kansas? Can you have constructive knowledge? Can I just hold my hand in front of my face every time I walk toward a bathroom? And then I can go in whichever bathroom I want? If you... Well, it's about knowledge in the case so that you are committing the act. So you have to not know when you did it. If you find out later, it's not like, that doesn't change. I can't believe that dude was in the bathroom with me 2 years later. Yeah, that you also can't penalize stuff retroactively. But I mean, I could just walk up to a bathroom like this, and I can go in whatever bathroom I want now. I now have an affirmative defense. I may have constructive knowledge, but I don't know if Kansas defines knowledge in that way. Parental censoring. That's how I watched a T-Rex eat a lawyer in 1994. Through my mom's fingers. Yeah. I was in the theater with, like this. And that's when I knew I wanted to be a lawyer. Someday I could get eaten by a T-Rex. That's the dream. Isn't that the dream? We're all looking for a way to get eaten by a T-Rex. All civil actions brought pursuant to this subsection shall be commenced within 2 years. Okay, so a 2-year statute of limitations. Any civil penalty collected by the Attorney General shall be deposited to the credit of the Crime Victims Compensation Fund. State registrars shall correct any birth certificate records that identify the sex of the individual named in such record in a manner that is contrary to the definition of such term. And here's the driver's license stuff. Religious organization. Can we just start making gender part of our religion, guys? I would like to start making gender a part of my religion. No joke, my stepbrothers let me half brother. Me stepbrothers let me half brother watch Jurassic Park when he was about 2. And me brother is still traumatized by elephants. Or dinosaurs. He later lost his shit at his first trip to the zoo when he saw the elephants and thought they were dinosaurs. Wow. He got his happily ever after all? Did he get eaten by the elephant? A Kansas driver's license issued to any person 16 years of age or older who indicated on the person's application that the person wished to make a gift of... Where are we getting to this sex stuff? Ah, there it is. He later ended up marrying his girlfriend, an elephant? who was a zoo worker and was working with the elephants. It was the same elephants. Oh, Masselhoff, what are you asking about? This section? Or the elephants? Any driver's license issued prior to July 1st, 2026 that identifies the gender of the individual named on such license in a manner that is contrary to the definition of such term as defined, blah blah blah, shall be invalid. The director shall correct any driver's license records that identify the gender of the individual named in such record in a manner that is contrary to the definition of such term as defined. The director shall send written notice to each such individual notifying such individual that such license is invalid and to surrender such license to the Division of Vehicles. Upon the surrender of any such license, the director shall issue a new driver's license to such individual with the correct gender identification for such individual. Now, hold on a second. Wait a second, what? Am I going crazy here? Gender isn't defined in 77207. Gender isn't in here. I'll bring it back up just to show it. Unless this is an old version. Might need to get an updated one. But here, I'll Control F it for you. Control F, gender. Not here. Doesn't show up in the text of 77207. Is it changed later in here? Did y'all get confused about sex and gender halfway through your bill? Okay, there it is. Silly me, silly me, silly me. An individual's sex or gender means such individual's biological sex, either male or female, at birth. So now they're just making sex and gender mean the same thing. Wait. Wait, what? Okay, there it is. What did I do? I didn't do anything. Oh, sorry. My bad. There we go. I still had that 77207 text up. So this amends 77207 to change things, to add gender. What a... Okay. If you're doing this in your statute, you are not a serious person. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna make this word equal this other word. It's the same thing, right? We're gonna end up spending all of stream on this one bill. This one stupid Kansas bill. Okay, well, I'm done with it now. That was a trip. Kansas, I'm adding you to the list of states that can just fuck right off. No, it's not sorry. Like, I planned to go over this one, Maddie. This was on my list of things that were fucked up today. Not even at the top of the list. Very upsetting. This is right up there with Texas A&M banning Play-Doh because it's too gay. An embarrassment of an alma mater. Okay, what do we got here?
What is not acceptable is oversight Republicans breaking their own committee rules that they established with the secretary and her.
This is involving Lauren Boebert, sharing pictures of Hillary Clinton during their closed-door testimony, which was completely against the rules. Oh, man, Masselhoff, you didn't see that one? Yeah, my kids are never going to A&M. Guess they didn't want my money.
Team.
I know it's against the committee's rules. I don't know if it's against the law.
Which you've all reported and you've seen by releasing photos. Not acceptable, and it was gracious of the secretary and her team to continue the deposition.
My tinfoil hat on for a second, I have to wonder if rules were intentionally violated to intentionally end the Epstein deposition. I don't know. I'm not sure, Maddie, on that one. I don't have enough background in like congressional procedures to know whether that's against the law. White House circulating blatantly illegal. Yep, this is the one that really fucking pissed me off today. God damn it. We're here. We're fucking here. This is the one that I just want to like throw a copy of the article down on my MAGA coworker's desk and be like, fuck you. I told you this was fucking coming. You denied it for so fucking long. And you said that you would, if this ever happened, you would denounce Trump. And I doubt you will. You will not do it. And I can't even read the goddamn article. I don't want to put my email in. I mean, I guess it's just my know-nothing email. Whatever. Fine. I'm depressed. Anti-voting activists coordinating with White House on blatantly illegal draft emergency order to take control of elections. We're here, folks. Democracy's over. Time to start disowning your family. If you hadn't done that already. Oi. A draft emergency executive order. Welcome to the end of the game GIF. Yeah, already did. Yeah, well. Yeah. Thankfully, I don't have any MAGA family, even if I have conservative family. Where's Texas's turnout? What do you mean, Maddie? A draft emergency executive order to declare a national emergency to allow President Donald Trump to take unprecedented control over voting is being circulated by anti-voting activists. Anti-voting activists. What in good God? I don't know. I don't know, Maddie. I don't know. I haven't been following that. As you know, Maddie, my life has been a little preoccupied. Yeah. I want to know exactly who each of these anti-voting activists is. What are you doing in my White House? What are you doing in our White House? Voting rights experts, democracy advocates, and at least one state election chief said Trump doesn't have the authority to claim such powers, and any attempt would be blatantly unconstitutional. Guys, we're past this point. You need to stop using. You need to start using more direct language than unconstitutional. Existentially threatening. Warranting warranting riots. Warranting immediate action. This is on CNN. The news just loves to flatten what he does. Yeah. It's insane that unconstitutional is now like the safer term. I have an uncle that called me and said you were fucking right about Trump after he tried to steal the election, then voted for him. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's my... The fake electors plot is my pet peeve. I can't. That's so heartbreaking. That's so heartbreaking. Like, you can't see that you were so upset that you understood just how fucked up that was. And that come 4 years later, you think the world is in such a state that it is the lesser of two evils to vote for that person. You don't understand that your mind has been fucked with? You can't see that you are buying into, like, obvious propaganda? You can't keep track of your own beliefs? Your own values, your own thoughts? You can't keep track of that for 4 years? You look back 4 years and just go, oh, I believe something completely different. The most unpopular first lady ever is Hillary Clinton. Exactly. He was obsessed about Hunter Biden's laptop. Second being Melania. What the absolute fuck has Hillary ever done? Well, Maddie... I don't know. But most unpopular is kind of ridiculous. The draft order, which is said to be based on a conspiracy theory that China interfered with the 2020 election. Oh, fuck yourself. Go fuck off. What? The 2020 election was most directly fucked with by the person who is currently president. Would allow Trump to unilaterally ban mail-in ballots and voting machines on the basis that they are susceptible to foreign interference. The 2020 election, Maddie? Even though he, yeah. Is interfered with by China, and he won. Yeah. No, I got you. I mean, maybe you did make a mistake, but I understand you to be saying that he claims that he won. The order comes from MAGA activists who have been coordinating with the White House. MAGA. Oh, I love how we just say MAGA activists at one point, and earlier we said anti-voting activists, and we don't want to draw the line there. I mean, I guess I feel like the lines have to be more blatantly drawn consistently for people to be able to read these things correctly, because now we don't know how to read. One of the advocates for the order is Peter Tickton, the attorney for Tina Peters, the former GOP Colorado County clerk, who is currently serving a 9-year state prison sentence for her role in a 2021 voting system breach in an attempt to find voter fraud based on election conspiracies. Oh, the person who loves democracy so much. The Elections Clause of the U.S. Constitution explicitly gives states, not the president, the sole authority over elections. Not entirely true. Congress is allowed to pass laws involving elections. But in an email to Democracy Docket, Tickton said that Trump may invoke emergency powers in response to an election emergency involving foreign interference, provided certain statutory and procedural requirements are met. No, that is not in there. That does not exist. That is not an emergency power of the president. that the Constitution does not say that. You can't just take powers from the states. Just because that's not in there, that's the states would have hated that. Well, yes, also it's not an emergency, and the idea that suddenly a president can declare whatever he wants an emergency is ridiculous. Yeah, can't yeah, states' rights. States' rights. Tickton said those requirements derive from the National Emergencies Act and the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. These powers are subject to procedural safeguards and judicial review to ensure compliance with constitutional and statutory limits. Trump could have been referencing the legal argument laid out in the draft emergency order in a social media post earlier this month, where he threatened to bypass Congress to implement voter ID requirements and to ban mail-in voting. I love that he's constantly trying to ban a form of voting that he participates in. Maddie, I understand we're in a place where it's very confusing that we are advocating for states' rights, but that is one of the core tenets of this channel specifically. We have found ourselves back in a position where we're like, oh wait, states' rights actually really matter. Really, really, really matter. The issue is that for decades, I've searched the depths of legal arguments not yet articulated or vetted on the subject and will be presenting an irrefutable one in the very near future. Oh my God, what a nightmare. He later posted that would be presenting them shortly in the form of an executive order. I really need to figure out some way to get the conversation about a constitutional convention more normalized. I need to get this out here somehow. The issue is that for decades, states' rights was weaponized to push racist, counter-historical narratives and regular racism. You know what? I need to submit my application to Traders, and I can get on Traders US, and I can talk about constitutional conventions there. Then everybody will see me. What a gift such a clearly unconstitutional executive order would be, David Becker, the executive director of Center for Election Innovation and Research and a former DOJ Civil Rights Division attorney, noted on social media. Though divorced from legal and factual reality, it would enable the courts to invalidate this power grab well in advance of the election and confirm the clear limits to federal interference in elections. Oh, all right, David Becker, dude, please do not do this. Do not invite these things. Traitors, the show Traitors, which my friends and I love. The Constitution is absolutely clear, Michael McNulty, the policy director for the pro-democracy group Issue 1, said in a statement. The president does not have the legal authority to unilaterally change election rules. Any attempt by the White House to do so would contradict the Constitution and would almost certainly be struck down by the courts. Ned Foley, an election law scholar, noted that it would take new federal legislation to give the president or any part of the federal executive branch that kind of authority over the conduct of congressional elections. I would argue there might be an argument in there that Congress cannot even strip that away from the states. Well, no. When we're talking specifics like mail-in ballots, yeah, Congress can do that. Do you know Becker, Maddie? But no, I get you. I see what you're talking about. I agree. That seems like a weird statement. In a statement, the wire drop. Sorry, McNulty. In a statement, Colorado Secretary of State Jenna Griswold vowed to fight back if Trump were to attempt to seize control of voting with any such executive order. Donald Trump continues to be one of the greatest threats to American elections, Griswold said. Yeah, consistently. Justin Levitt, a constitutional law professor. We're just talking like different law professors and what they've said. There's literally no authority here that any official would have to listen to. It doesn't require anybody to file anything in court to stop the impact. It just requires not listening, which is both easier and quicker. All right, that's fun. That's a fun approach. But you also have to realize that, take Texas, for example. If Trump passes this executive order, the executive branch of Texas will take that as authority to assist the federal government without action of the Texas legislature. That's the scary thing here, that they are not accepting. Oh, did Maddie do the research? Zuckerberg. Oh, okay. David Becker, an election law attorney and former People for the American Way activist who served in the voting selection of the Justice Department Civil Rights Division. What am I missing here? Oh my gosh, there's way more information on this than I thought. Playing both sides. Oh boy. How many paragraphs can you have with different people quoting that there's no authority in the Constitution to do this? I think this is just messy writing. Okay. Well, guys, let's hope that we can have a more exciting stream Saturday night. We'll definitely bring, unless huge exciting news happens, like the president trying to cancel elections. We'll plan to work on the Constitution again Saturday night. And I really want to get back into some debates. I want to bring some people up here so we can actually talk ideas. That's my favorite thing to do. I like talking ideas with people, even if they're dumb people, because then we refine those ideas. And they're usually other people would come in and they're listening too. Yeah, Maddie, I want debates. What I need to do is I need to I think it was Little Pound Cakes that linked me up with the horseradish patch, and I need to get myself onto one of their debate streams so more people can see me engaging in debate. I need to start using some of my nights off to find maybe conservative debate spaces and get involved with that. I need to start shopping around for debate spaces. That's what I need to do, and just get myself out there. My biggest problem is that I don't debate like other people debate. I don't like to come in with like pre-organized materials. I like to acknowledge that I don't know things and not act like I have the answers. I like to acknowledge that I don't know things and then research them live, because I think we need to be able to accept that that's an okay thing to do. But I'm gonna try my best. And hey, once a person in my life is going through some crazy stuff right now, but they seem to be interested in giving me some advice on how to improve my channel, so they might help me with some of this marketing stuff once they're through their crazy stuff. So I'm gonna start getting more organized. Those are the douchebag debate bros. They don't debate in good faith. Which ones? The ones that act like they know stuff that they don't and don't want to research it live? I can't. It's really weird to me that the debate space treats not knowing something like it's such a faux pas. It's really sad. Okay. I'm gonna give y'all a short version of the sign off unless y'all ask me for the whole thing, but it's just the two of you, so I'll just say, y'all know who I am, Know Nothing Attorney. I appreciate you guys being here. Love you guys. Raid with the okay, I'll raid. And I'm proud of you guys. Y'all know why. It's no surprise. Yeah, realizing you don't know things is a mark of intelligence. Because there's always room to learn more stuff. And if you like learning, you are constantly realizing that you don't know stuff. And you can't be an intelligent person if you're not constantly learning. All right, let's raid. Maddie, you got someplace for me to raid? Who's out there? Deep dive in the Epstein files. Israel devil worship. Okay, I don't want to raid somebody who's talking about devil worship. Libtard TikTok lives. Aristotle. There's thoughtful. Class complement.
And it's a working definition because I think it can start a conversation, and it's only a working definition, as in not a perfect one, because I know that there are outliers, right? I know that there's going to be outliers.
What is
but
this
I can get
channel?
most of what I need in this circle, which means that we can start to have a conversation. I think that's perfectly okay, right? It doesn't need to be a perfect definition. Now, I am an empiricist. I'm very I'm okay with a certain amount of indeterminacy,
Okay.
a certain amount of
All
flexibility.
right, we'll raid Aristotle.
Rationalists who want to deduce things from
On your recommendation,
just
Maddie.
the preconditions, what we need to assume to get stuff to,
Have a good night,
to
y'all.
do, they're